Hello everybody! Yes, I am actually back to doing a regular booktube video. For those of you who don't know, my September and October got completely overrun by starting a new business. I started a bookstore. Pretty soon I'll do a whole video showing you the space and everything we've done and talk about it. Because I'm really excited about it. It's been really cool, the opening. It was about early October. We've had a great first month. It's been super, super fun. But I miss booktube. Just today, I kind of like to get my fix. I watched like 2 hours of booktube and was like, I need to actually like start making videos again. So hopefully this will mean that I am back as far as making videos. I don't think I will ever come back to 3 videos a week. We'll see. Maybe I'll have more time than I think. But hopefully I'll do at least 1 video a week and maybe sprinkle in some more. So at least do wrap-ups, that kind of thing. And today, TBRs. TBRs are fun, I feel like, because it keeps me accountable, and also, you know, it's a way of getting a lot of books into one video without doing like a tier list or something like that. Anyway, you guys like TBRs. Why am I explaining why you like TBRs? Let's talk about what I am reading. First couple books on this list are books of series that I normally listen on audiobook while I'm doing chores or other things, blah, 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 blah. But for some reason, I hit a wall with both of those where I couldn't get the audiobooks at my library, and they were somewhat expensive to purchase them. I mean, not like really, but like higher than like $5 or something like that. I know, a little bit of a cheapskate there. But I could find the physical text at the library, so I am shifting over to physical books for just this single volume, and then probably going to continue on in audiobooks. I've talked enough about that. Right now, Tiamat's Wrath, which is the 8th book in the Expanse series. If you haven't heard of the Expanse series, they have a TV show on Amazon that I hear is good. I haven't watched it. I've only read the books. The books are really good. The first book is Leviathan Wakes. I think a lot of people have at least read that to give it a shot. But even from that initial book, which I know some people are hot and cold about, because it's a little bit of like a fun, just like space opera adventure, the whole universe really expands into something really unexpected. I actually kind of think it's Wheel of Time-like, in the sense of the first Wheel of Time book, Eye of the World, is pretty, not vanilla, but like it's taking a lot of tropes of the fantasy genre on purpose and sort of making you feel comfortable in the world before sort of either subverting or changing or going in an unforeseen direction for the rest of the series. And that's why I think it's so beloved. I actually think with space operas, The Expanse is a similar thing. Leviathan Wakes is very much sort of like, not exactly by the numbers, but like you recognize things. There's like a Han Solo-esque character, okay, and there's like, you know, kind of a love story, and, you know, there's a big twist, blah, blah. It feels, familiar. The rest of the series, though, again, I would recommend for people really to continue on, because it turns into actually a sort of Game of Thrones in space-like thing. And I'm not just saying that because George R. R. Martin is on here. I mean, like, the politics of these different areas of the solar system and how major events change the power dynamics between these factions and new factions rising up, I think is really interesting. I've never seen something like that in a science fiction world. I've seen it a lot in fantasy terms, where, like, different factions vie for a throne or whatever. But in the midst of this science fiction space opera, I think it's so fascinating, and it never loses the fun of that space opera feel. So strongly recommend the Expanse series if you haven't gone by that first book. Anyway, this is the 8th book. I don't want to say too much about what's actually happening in this book, because that would be spoilers, obviously. Also to say, this is a great time to jump into the Expanse series, because the last book in this series, the 9th book, Leviathan Falls, is coming out the end of this month. I think November 30th, if I remember right. So this is a perfect time to jump on. These are really easy reads, and I will say, the audiobooks, I wish I knew the narrator's name. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen here so he gets some credit, because he is a fantastic reader. Highly recommend it. So if you don't have time to read the series, I would definitely listen to those audiobooks, and then you can be in the know when the final book comes out. So I love these. The other book series that I normally listen to on audiobook is the Dresden Files. However, for small favor, I couldn't find the audiobook in any of my library systems. So I'm reading the actual physical copy here. I have read a couple of these books in physical copy, and they're fun to read. And as many people have said, Dresden Files, after the first couple, again, which are sort of like, I don't know, they feel very vanilla, like Monster of the Week like books. All of a sudden, this larger world starts to develop in this overarching meta story that is very fascinating and takes some cool twists and turns, starts developing. So this is, what am I at now? 10th book? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10. So this is the 10th book. They didn't have numbers, I had to count them. This is the 10th book in the series, and things are really starting to ramp up in the series, so I'm really enjoying it. So, would recommend the Dresden Files. Like most people have said, there is some uncomfortable male gazeness throughout the series that if you don't want to deal with, totally understand. But the story is good. Next up, my year of short classics. I'm gonna have a autumn wrap up to make up for the months that I haven't done this, and I'll talk about some of the books that I've read there. But the November book, some of the books I've read as my year of short classics continues. I read The Giver, Death of Ivan Illich, a couple others. Anyway, this month it is not the whole Divine Comedy, but Inferno, which is like the first of the third of the three sort of works that make up the Divine Comedy. So it's not this whole fat thing. But I am reading by Dante. I think most people know that. I am reading this sort of while I'm reading other things. Right now you can see I'm at Canto 8, which is when he's about to get to the city of Dis. So, it's poetry, it's really beautiful, the theology I think is kind of messed up, but, yeah, it's a classic for a reason. It's really great to read. So I'm reading that while I'm reading these other books as well. Really enjoy it. By the way, this is a beautiful edition that I got at Barnes & Noble. You know, those like really cool Barnes & Noble editions. And this is a fun fact, the translation they use is Longfellow's, the famous American poet, translation, which I think is really cool. So you're kind of getting the poetic works of two greats in one. Once I finish those two books, I'm finally going to get to check out, drum roll, boom, my special edition Lord of the Rings books. So I bought these, was it last year? Last year, I think. And just because I've been reading other stuff, haven't been able to sit down and read them. It is fall. It's the perfect time for me to actually sit down, read, and enjoy these beautiful editions. And while I do that, I'm also going to slowly make my way through the Silmarillion, which I've only read once in high school, and it was okay. I wasn't quite prepared for it. I was in high school, a couple other things. But I think the combination of this gorgeous edition that matches my beautiful edition there, as well as reading it slowly and being a little bit more prepared for what it is. Oh, look at that. Look at these full color illustrations. I think that'll allow me to enjoy it a lot more and brush up on my Lord of the Rings lore. So I am going to read the Silmarillion slowly while I read The Hobbit and then all 3 volumes of the Lord of the Rings. I think this month, this will be, I've lost track. It'll be somewhere in the late teens, the amount of times I've read it. Maybe like my 16th time reading. For a little while, I was trying to read it every year, and I was semi-successful for about 5 years to just read it year after year after year. And then since then, it's kind of been inconsistent. This will be my first time since, I think, 2018, since I moved here to Minnesota where I am now. So it's been a while. I'm pretty excited about it. Obviously, I love Lord of the Rings. So that's going to be really, really fun to get into. If I have time after reading that, I still need to catch up on our hashtag Scala Along. Sorry, Chris. I'm also reading the biography of the first volume of Barack Obama's biography. Oh man, what's it called? I should know this. I'm reading it. It's like Becoming Hope or Hope Rising. Maybe Hope Rising. Well, can't remember. It'll be on the screen or I'll say it or something like that. That's going to be it for me. I need some help from you guys. If you're watching this TBR still here at the end and hearing my ramblings. In December, I think I'm going to try to get a lot of single volume fantasy out of the way. Just to kind of I've done a lot of big series over the last couple months, and I kind of just want to hit a lot of things that I really want to read. So, where is that book? So, Best Served Cold, the Joe Abercrombie standalone. I'm seeing American Gods over there, Good Owens. Maybe that'll be one. Favorite standalones that I can read quickly. December, I can just like get through a lot of different individual stories. They can be sci-fi or fantasy, or if you have a really great like regular fiction one as well. So let me know that in the comments below, and then if you make that comment, I'll know that you watched to the very end. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great reading month in November, and as always, first in, last out.